So, what if one of the most famous apocalyptic verses isn't really about a literal monster, but a blueprint for how power can corrupt belief? Today, we're diving deep into a single, incredibly potent line from the book of Revelation. We're going to peel back all those layers of symbolism to get to the bottom of its timeless warning about worship, authority, and, well, deception. Let's get into it. And here it is, Revelation chapter 13, verse 4. Now, on the surface, this is just a bizarre scene, right? People worshiping a dragon and a beast. I mean, it sounds like something straight out of a fantasy novel. But the text we're analyzing today suggests there's something way more profound and symbolic going on. So let's treat this like an ancient artifact we're about to investigate together. And that really gets us to the heart of the matter for this whole explainer. Are we looking at a literal fire-breathing monster? Or is this verse actually a timeless warning about the very nature of power, of authority, and where we choose to place our ultimate allegiance? It's a big question, so let's start digging for some answers. The verse kicks right off with this really direct statement, and they worshiped the dragon, which gave power unto the beast. So we've got two key things happening here, an act of worship and a transfer of power. And to really get the depth of this, we've got to look at the original language because, sometimes a simple translation just doesn't capture the full picture. Okay, so the first key word here is the Greek word for worship, which is proskuneo. And this is so crucial because this isn't just about a feeling or some private belief. The word itself has a very physical meaning, to bow down, to literally prostrate yourself before something. It implies total, absolute submission and reverence. So, who is this dragon? Well, the source material is crystal clear on this. The book of Revelation itself points out that the dragon is Satan. But this isn't about people literally bowing to a dragon. The argument is that when people give their ultimate allegiance to a corrupt religious system, one that puts human tradition and power above God, they are in effect worshiping the spiritual force behind that system. That institution becomes a kind of throne for Satan, redirecting the worship that belongs to God. And what exactly does the dragon give the beast? The Greek word is exousia. Now, this isn't just raw brute strength. It means authority, the right to rule. Think of it like an official delegated power. So the dragon is granting this beast a formal, recognized authority to act. And this leads to a really fascinating point from our source. Satan's most deceptive move isn't empowering something that's obviously evil. It's empowering religion itself. This power, this exousia, isn't built on grace. It's built on fear, on control. It creates these huge dominant institutions that look righteous on the outside, but are actually masking a deep spiritual rebellion. And as the text from 2 Corinthians says, Satan himself can masquerade as an angel of light. Okay, so the source of all this power is established. But the verse doesn't stop there, does it? It says they also worshipped the beast. And that's not just an accident. It's a very deliberate repetition that points to a crucial dual allegiance. The structure here is so important, you can't miss it. First, they worshipped the source of the power, the dragon. And then they immediately worshipped the recipient of that power, the beast. One act of submission just flows directly and naturally into the next. So, according to the analysis we're digging into, worshiping the beast is all about giving your ultimate loyalty to the worldly systems that Satan empowers. This is where the symbolism starts to feel very real. We're talking about politically and financially powerful institutions, the blind pursuit of wealth, or any kind of corrupt religious authority. It's an embrace of what the Bible calls mammon, basically the worship of money and material things, and placing that above everything else. And this all builds to the absolute climax of the verse. See, the world doesn't just worship this beast. It stands in complete and utter awe of its power. Just listen to that cry. Who is like unto the beast? Who is able to make war with him? This isn't really a question, is it? It's a statement. It's a declaration of total surrender. It's the sound of humanity looking at a power so immense, so seemingly invincible, that fighting back just feels completely impossible. And here, this is where the analysis uncovers something truly remarkable. That cry, "Who is like the beast?" is a direct, almost blasphemous parody of a phrase that was reserved only for God in the Old Testament. The book of Exodus asks, "Who is like unto thee, O Lord?" In this verse, that sacred question of worship is completely twisted, it's co-opted, and it's redirected to a worldly system. It's the ultimate act of idolatry. Now hold on. Because a quick look at the very next verse gives us another crucial clue. It says the beast was given authority to continue for 42 months. And you can bet that number is not random. Our source material connects this period, 42 months, directly to the length of Jesus' ministry on earth, 3.5 years. The insight here is that the beast's reign of power is being set up as a direct spiritual counter-narrative to the single most pivotal moment of God's entire plan. It's like a shadow ministry in direct opposition. So when we put all of these pieces together, the decoded words, the symbols, the parallels in Scripture, we finally arrive at the core argument of this analysis. The source concludes that this verse is describing what you could call Satan's masterstroke. It's not about tempting people with obvious cartoonish evil. It's about using the appearance of holiness, of piety, of an authority you can't question, to draw worship away from Jesus and redirect it onto human systems, traditions, and powerful institutions. Which, leaves us with a final, pretty heavy question. This ancient text isn't just about dragons and beasts from some long-gone era. It really forces us to ask ourselves today, in our own lives, where is that line between a healthy reverence for tradition and authority and the kind of fear-based awe that becomes the worship of power itself?